We come back and take a look at a Mets moment. Bob Apodaca spent most of the 1974 season coming out of the bullpen for the Mets. But on July 27th, he was given a surprise start against the Montreal Expos. He did give up a run in the first inning, but settled down after that to retire 19 straight batters. Meanwhile, the Mets scored 3 runs in the 7th inning, pulling away to an 8-1 lead en route to an 8-5 win against the Spos. There they are, the Mercury Mets. They rocketed in from the planet closest to the sun. The Pirates are called the Buccos from the planet Pittsburgh. Not sure really how that worked out. Anyway, up next, the Sports Desk with Deb Kaufman.
Okay, Louie, take it away.
Take me out to the ball game.
Take me out to the crowd. Yeah.
I don't care if I never get back, so let's root for the home team.
If they don't win, it's a shame, 'cause it's at the old ball game.
I like that.
That fella can sing, huh?
Orel Hershiser broke into the major leagues with the LA Dodgers in 1983. 5 years later, he set a major league record by working 59 consecutive scoreless innings. And later that year, won the deciding game of the World Series.
Got him. They've done it. Like the 1969 Mets. It's the impossible dream revisited.
Lately, he's been a traveler, spending 3 years with the Cleveland Indians and playing last season for the San Francisco Giants. This spring, he signed with the Mets and leads the team in wins. His latest victory was the 200th of his career, placing him in select company. Tonight, he looks to add to that total against the Pittsburgh Pirates. The 7 train up and running on time, pulling into the station, depositing fans at the platform, and then they'll make their way into Shea Stadium, where the Mets tonight will take on the Pittsburgh Pirates on turn ahead the clock night. The Mets rocketing in from the planet Mercury. Yes, the Mercury Mets taking on the Pirates tonight at Shea Stadium. New uniforms on display. The Mets know what it's like to play in warm weather. After all, they are from Mercury, the planet closest to the sun. Hi, everybody. I'm Matt Lachlan. Welcome to Fox Sports Net New York. The new uniforms unveiled today by the Mets and the Pirates. The Mercury Mets, the symbol of the planet Mercury on their cap and the planet on the side of their jerseys. It is a promotion put together by Major League Baseball. And you know what? Some mixed reactions, frankly, but for the most part, the players enjoy the new look. Not so sure what the Pirates think about it, because theirs are a little outlandish. Well, we're turning ahead the clock. Now let's talk about tonight's game, which will take place in just a few moments. Upstairs we go to Howie Rose and Fran Healy.
All right, Matty, thank you. Now, these babies are more traditional than they look here. I mean, sure, it takes a little getting used to at first. I don't know if I thank Charlie Samuels or somebody else for this, but look at this number, 21, Cleon Jones. You get Cleon's number, it's a traditional jersey, and you're wearing, what, 40 there, like you wore with the Yankees?
Number 40. Yes, I'm very proud of number 40.
Fitting.
I like, pardon?
Well, well, listen, it's fitting that he has 40 tonight, because 40 is the operative number, with 40-year-old Orel Hershiser hoping to start on his second 200 victories.
Yes, Orel Hershiser won his 200th victory the other night in Montreal. In fact, when he won 200 games, he also stole the base. He played flawless defense, and he's been an outstanding all-around pitcher, and he's proud of winning over 100 ball games coming back from arm surgery, and I don't blame him, but he's become very important to the Mets. 10 victories. Most important number Hershiser has offered to the Mets this year, along with the 200th victory of his career.
And don't forget those wheels either. Hershiser stole a base in Montreal during that 200th win. Well, one guy who you just can't discount. Every time people think, well, maybe Benny Agbayani is coming way down to earth, he has a night like he did last night that makes you think that he's for real.
Well, Agbayani's swinging a very hot bat. You can understand him going through a period where he was hitting 500, and he said, you know what, I don't think I should be hitting 500, but he hit the ball very hard last night, got some key hits in last night's ball game, driving in 3 runs, and he's become very, very important to this ball club, playing a solid right field. But if he has an Achilles heel, it would be his defense.
And Benny Agbayani playing just about every day now for the New York Mets. When we get back, we'll look back on Orel Hershiser's 200th win with a guy who goes back a long ways with Orel, pitching coach Dave Wallace. Here at Shea Stadium in New York, and in any century, in any language, that's the smallest of deficits. 1.5 game, all that separates the New York Mets from the first place Atlanta Braves in the National League East. And our umpire lineups for tonight's game are brought to you by clickandsettle.com, where you can resolve your legal disputes online to avoid costs from getting out of line. Angel Hernandez will call the balls and strikes with C.B. Buckner at first. Randy Marsh is the crew chief. He'll be at second with Joe West, the umpire, at third. Mets have won their last 6, and tonight they're sporting new duds for this one night only. And in part of that tradition, or at least something that Major League Baseball thinks might become a tradition, 21st century garb, the Mets designing their own, and it's a step beyond that which many of the other teams have designed. In fact, when you see the Pittsburgh Pirates, they'll be wearing jerseys that are pretty well an example, Fran, of what all of the other teams that have gone to these turn-ahead-the-clock promotions have done. Their logo in a newfangled, flashy way.
Pirates look like they turned back the clock with those uniforms instead of jumped it ahead as you look at the Pirates lineup.
Same lineup as last night, at least the first 8. Al Martin, Abraham Nunez, Brian Childs, Kevin Young, Ed Sprague, Warren Mars, Brant Brown, and Joe Oliver. And we'll all be anxious to get a look at Kris Benson on the mound, the 24-year-old one-time first overall draft pick out of Clemson University. And let's see, Kris Benson was born in 1974. Orel Hershiser, 40 years of age. So you got to go back to 1958 for Orel's birthday. So Orel was already 14 years old when Kris Benson was born. But Hershiser pitching well below his age, if you will, last week.
And you know, if you take a good look at Orel Hershiser, even facially, he doesn't look 40 years old. Young look at Orel Hershiser taking his warm-up tosses. In his last outing, he had no slider. He had no changeup. So he had a catch with Mike Piazza. He threw his sinker and threw it over the plate and got the victory, his 10th victory of the season. There it is, Howie put this in the book.
Got to win first, and that's what the Mets will be trying to do tonight. All right, Milwaukee and Atlanta, by the way. Hideo Nomo facing Kevin Millwood in that game. The Brewers batting in the top of the first inning.
And defensively for the Mets, it's Matt Franco at first base, Alfonso at second, Ordonez at short, Ventura at third. Henderson, Cedeno, and Agbayani left to right in the outfield. Piazza behind the plate. Franco's second start at first this season. Bobby Valentine giving John Oliver a day of rest. We talked about last night, it'd be a great idea to rest John Oliver, even if you could rest him for a couple days and let him get strong again. I talked to John by the batting cage and asked him about that. He said, you know, I don't feel tired, but he admitted to the fact that, you know, when you're playing and you're very intense out there, you really don't know that you're tired. So Bobby Valentine giving John a well-deserved night off. We'll see if he ends up in there pinch hitting.
All right, so Orel Hershiser getting set to go to work against Al Martin, the Pirate left fielder.
Al, a leadoff hitter, who swung at a bad ball at Armando Benitez last night after Armando couldn't throw strikes.
Orel Hershiser misses with his first pitch, 1-0 to Martin. I don't know, did you ever catch anybody who threw 13 in a row out of the strike zone?
You know, I probably did.
Martin lifts one in the air, pretty deep left field. Henderson to the wall, it's gone! A leadoff home run by Al Martin to give the Pirates an instant 1-0 lead.
And for Martin, his 15th home run of the year. And he has gone from a Pirate who was going to be traded prior to the season starting this year to a player who the Pirates want to keep, from what I understand. 15 home runs for Martin. He's batting close to 300. And the Pirates jump on top 1-0.
Abraham Nunez, the shortstop, runs up to bunt, pulls it back. 1 ball, no strikes.
Well, Hershiser throwing that ball above the belt. And Martin knew it had a shot. 15 home runs for the Pirate left fielder now.
1 ball, 1 strike to Nunez. Ball carried well, too, in this hot, somewhat humid weather. The balls have a tendency this time of year to go for a ride. Line drive, base hit right field by Nunez. Abraham Nunez was 0 for 5 last night, but he's got a base hit here in the first inning, and the Pirates off to a good start against Hershiser.
Well, it's a great example of bad location for Hershiser early here tonight. A pitch that did nothing to Martin. It was above the belt, and Hershiser's made his living below the belt with that good sinker. And here's a very hittable pitch, as you can tell, right in this area, a hittable pitch for Nunez. He slapped that ball in the right field. The other night we saw Hershiser pitching down, just throwing that sinker, keeping it knee high. And what makes a pitcher very effective that has that sinker ball, if you can start that ball just above the knees and run it out of the strike zone, get those hitters hit the ball on the ground.
So now Brian Giles, one of the more refreshing personalities to come into the National League in a while. Giles, Sean Casey of the Cincinnati Reds.
Well, let me ask the question, is it their personality or their bat?
Well, I'll go back to spring training with Giles. He took a very self-deprecating approach to the Pirates' idea of playing him in center field. He was afraid he'd get killed out there.
He's looked pretty good, at least what we've seen.
Nunez bluffs, doesn't go, and Hershiser misses low, 2-0.
And the Pirates are pleasantly surprised with his defense and his offense. I mean, he's having a real solid season with those 21 home runs and batting over 300. Whoever's teaching those Indians in the minor leagues how to hit, they're doing a good job.
Giles gets under this one. Popped up to the right side. Matt Franco, the first baseman, yields to Alfonso, and that's the first out. Fonzie, of course, an everyday player, and Matt Franco spelling John Olerud tonight, so on plays like that, I guess Alfonso will almost play it like a center fielder and take whatever he can get to.
And Matt Franco wisely giving ground to Alfonso.
So now it's the first baseman, Kevin Young, who launched one last night into the picnic area for his 15th home run.
You know, last night we were talking about Kevin Young, how he's been released twice in his major league career. Years ago, if you heard that dreaded word released, not many guys came back after one release.
1 ball, no strikes to Young.
And the Pirates were one of the teams that released Young. Kansas City Royals also released him.
Think about it. You get released today, you've got 29 other potential suitors. Time was you had just about half that many. Inside 2-0.
Well, usually years ago, when you got released, it was pretty much over. Not many teams took a chance on a released player. Today, it doesn't have the negative connotation. Could mean a number of things.
2-0 to Young. Outside, ball 3, and Hershiser struggling here in the first inning. A home run to Martin leading off, a base hit by Nunez. Giles popped up, but now Hershiser behind Young, 3-0. Swinging 3-0. He rips one off the area right in front of the camera. Down the third base side, 3 balls, 1 strike. Power hitter like Kevin Young will probably have the green light 3-0 in most, if not all, situations.
Well, I would give all major league hitters the green light 3-0. You can have one, you can have a sign to take if it's necessary. But if a major league hitter shows you he doesn't have good discipline 3-0, then you can take the luxury away.
So 3 balls, 1 strike. Nunez does not go, and again Young fouls one off. So we'll see if he's running now on 3-2. Is that a change, you think, Fran, philosophically over the last 30 years? Seems like all of, at the very least, the run producers in this game seem to have the green light 3-0 just about all the time. Was it like that?
Yeah, your good hitters years ago. Well, you know what? I think years ago they were more conservative 3-0.
That's my impression.
Where today they give the big boppers the hit sign 3-0, and I don't blame them. You're going to get a real good pitch. If you're disciplined, you're going to get a good strike to hit 3-0. They're not shooting for the corners.
Now Nunez runs inside, ball 4. So the Pirates with runners at first and second as Hershiser issues his first walk in what has been an uneven first inning.
In the scouting report on Orel Hershiser, building Hall of Fame credentials, without a doubt. keep the ball on the ground. That's how he's made his living, pitching downstairs. Spotting a rotation in jeopardy. Well, if he can get a victory tonight, it's number 11. And you have 11 wins. Of course, he said that if he has to go to the bullpen, he'll do what it takes.
Kenny Rogers will become the Mets' 6th regular starting pitcher in rotation tomorrow. Don't forget Bobby Jones, who threw today. Strike to Sprague, 0-1.
Yeah, Bobby fighting back from arm miseries. We saw him throw up in Montreal. Said it's starting to feel pretty good.
So he's made 21 errors at third base, but he's made up for it offensively. Ed Sprague has. Pirates All-Star representative this year. Bouncing ball foul, 0-2.
Remember Mickey Tettleton?
Fruit Loops.
Well, Ed Sprague told me before the ball game that he always wanted to stand at the plate like Tettleton, and he was struggling in spring training this year. 3 days before spring training ended, he decided to take a shot at holding his bat the way he's holding it now.
He could hold it in his mouth and hit Hershiser based on those numbers we just showed you.
And the reason he's holding his bat that way, he said he was struggling with getting his hands back into a hitting position. And they call it the preparatory hitch. Well, he feels a lot more comfortable now taking that bat from the stance position and getting it back into the hitting position. And he said he always wanted to stand there like Tettleton. Well, very similar now. Very relaxed.
Breaking ball got him. So Ed Sprague caught looking, 2 men away. Real relaxed there.
Yeah, I'll tell you, that's a pretty good pitch for him to hit.
Hershiser not out of it yet. We'll have one of the most productive rookies in the league, Warren Morris, coming up.
Look at how relaxed he is. The key to hitting a baseball, relaxation. A lot of confidence. Look at those hands going back. And then he said, you know what? I'm relaxed. I'm confident. But let me take a look at oh, it's a hanger. You don't think he's sitting in the dugout going, you know what? I just took a hanger.
I'm relaxed, confident, I'm sleeping. 1-0 on Warren Morris. Morris leading all National League rookies in batting average at .309 and in runs batted in with 54. Well, Sprague's up and around now. They shade Morris to pull. Tries to hold his swing. A check at third. Joe West says strike. One ball, one strike now on Warren Morris. And the 1-1 to Morris, 6 away.
Oh, Morris is one of 2 players this year who jumped right from Double-A with the Pirates to the major leagues, the other being the pitcher in this ball game for the Pirates, Kris Benson.
Morris has hit safely in his last 5 games. Modest to be sure, but boy, he's been on a tear for the last 2 months. And he loops one to third. Ventura is there, and the side retired. So Hershiser gives up a leadoff home run to Al Martin, but pitches out of further difficulty, limiting the Pirates to just this one. And the Mets are coming up. An area the last little while. And afternoon or evening, it's been sunny around Shea Stadium, where the Mets are surging. They're within a half game of first place in the National League East. And their lineup tonight features only one change from the starting 8 last night. That's in the 3-hole with Matt Franco replacing John Olerud. Everything else the same. And Orel Hershiser, of course, on the mound. But it'll be interesting to get a look at the Pirates pitcher tonight, Fran. Kris Benson, #1 overall in the nation out of Clemson University in 1996.
Yeah, he's the Paul Wilson. Really, Paul Wilson was just like Kris Benson. Wilson coming out of college as a #1 draft pick, and they had high hopes. Of course, Paul Wilson went down with an injury and still trying to rehab, but Kris Benson is healthy. And everybody in baseball raving about Benson. 76 strikeouts and 110 innings. He has good control.
Yeah, the Mets saw Benson earlier this year. That was at Three Rivers Stadium on the 25th of May. Mets beat him that night, 8-3. As Ricky Henderson gets set to lead off against Benson. You know, Ricky looks like he's admiring the new surroundings, just in from Mercury. And maybe that's what he's admiring.
Well, he looks good.
The futuristic image.
He looks different.
So Benson delivers the first pitch, and it's ripped right to the shortstop Nunez. One away.
Well, ball just jumped off Henderson's bat. And by the way, Kris Benson has produced nearly 2 outs on the ground for every out he has recorded in the air. That was in the air. It was a bullet.
He's basically a fastball slider pitcher at this point. He's working on a straight change. Doesn't have much of a curveball. And Edgardo Alfonso enters the game, 9th in the National League in hitting, 5th in the league in base hits with 126. There's a fastball for a strike, 0-1.
And Fonzie looks good. What's that, a cape?
You know, I could understand. I could pick out Ricky. You could have run 20 Mets by me, and I wouldn't have guessed that was Alfonso.
Looks like a monk.
No balls, 2 strikes. I don't know. I look at it, I don't see Alfonso, but it's amazing what
he looks different in green. His head, he's got a green head. How about 45 opposite field hits? The ball's scared and jumps off his bat. Sees that picture.
Alfonso down on strike, so a good start for Benson. He gets Henderson on a line drive, fans Alfonso.
Well, defensively for the Pirates, Young, Morris, Nunez, and Sprague in the infield. Martin, Giles, Brant Brown left to right in the outfield. Joe Oliver behind the plate. Young was a good first baseman, good defensive first baseman, has 15 E's so far this year. And now Matt Franco has a nice picture up there in the scoreboard. There's Kevin Young.
Off the outside corner to Franco. Now that's Matt Franco, just in a hard hat. Well, I mean, you listen, if somebody said to you, which Met is that, without the name, you'd guess Matt Franco, wouldn't you?
Well, you have to look into his eyes.
Some of us know the real Matt Franco. 1 ball, 1 strike. I thought Matty had the best line about this whole Mercury Mets thing. The idea behind Mercury Mets was that the Mets in the 21st century would be playing on planet Mercury, and they'd zoom in for the game tonight. So Matt Franco was asked by Matt Lachlan how the ball travels up on Mercury. He says, oh, great, no gravity. You can hit some moon shots. He certainly got into the spirit of it. Everybody on the bench is getting a kick out of those likenesses up on the Diamond Vision board. 3-1 now to Franco. Of course, we've been told there are no moons on Mercury.
When that happened?
So I don't know. I guess Matt was absent that day in astronomy. Towards the hole and over the glove of Morris. So Matt Franco has himself an intergalactic base hit.
And he used the lip of the grass out there in the outfield. Ball hitting the edge of the grass and taking a little bit of a hop over the second base. Look at that, right over his glove. So Warren Morris had a shot at this ball. You know you're going to have a good night when you can hit the lip of the grass and have it bounce over the second baseman's glove.
Well, now I guess if anybody's got a chance to drive one towards Mercury, it's this guy. See what they did to his image.
It's a classic.
Way out in front of the breaking ball, 0-1.
Looked like he had bad dinner with that picture up there on the scoreboard.
A little on the green side. Don't adjust your sets.
Very green. But the stats are pretty good.
Might be a shellfish allergy. Short lead at first base for Franco. And the breaking ball. 1-1 to Piazza.
There he is. How about, look at the Mets. He's got a Met hat on.
Piazza platoon. And the 1-1 on the way on the outside corner. So Benson mixing up that fastball, which he just hit the outside corner with at 93, and his breaking ball ahead of Piazza.
Piazza, active players, best average against the Pirates. He's hammered. He hammers every team.
And the 1-2 line the other way towards the corner, but foul.
You know, watching Piazza swing a bat, at times he swings it in a gingerly fashion, just trying to make contact. But it seems to me when he makes contact, even when he's fooled and trying to stay alive, he still hits the, look at that. Now that's not a good swing. He hit that ball a long way foul down the right field line.
You sound jealous.
You know what? Players should be. I got a kick out of Robin Ventura when he and John Oliver were standing there. They hit the same group. And Robin walked out of the batting cage and said to John, okay, close your eyes. He's going to hit. That ball was just ricocheting off the seats out there.
Now the 1-2 pitch. Did he go around? Evidently not. The count evens.
And again, you can see Mike look very fooled, very uncomfortable in swinging the bat. He's still strong enough to hit the ball hard. We've seen him hit the ball at the end of the bat and break it, hit the ball into the outfield on the line.
Matt Franco at first with 2 away. It's trailing 1-0 here in the first inning on Al Martin's leadoff home run.
If you took a look at the players today, and we've said it many times, and compared them to 40 years ago, they're in great shape. Everybody's got these big arms. How's it going to be 25 years from now?
Well, take a look.
No, they're going to be bigger.
And the 2-2 on the way. The breaking ball wasted by Piazza. Well, he got a piece of the slider.
Well, Benson has been making some pretty good pitches on Piazza, but a good hitter, when he's fooled, somehow gets a piece of the ball and ends up in foul territory, so there's no damage. And then he gets a pitch, a mistake pitch that he can handle, and he crushes it. But so far, this has been a very good at bat by Piazza to stay alive against Benson, who's made some good pitches.
And the 2-2 on the way. Fly ball shallow into center field. The shortstop Nunez calling, but now he's called off by Giles, and the side retired. So no runs, a 2-out single by Franco. 1 in the books in Flushing, 1-0 Pittsburgh.
Tuesday present International Week 1999. The party starts with Budweiser's Hispanic Night, featuring a post-game concert. Saturday is Irish Night. Adults get a green Mets cap plus a post-game concert by Black 47. Sunday is Jewish Heritage Day, with pre-game music and kosher food stands. On Monday, the Mets salute the Asian community. Tuesday is African American Night, and Wednesday is Italian Night. For tickets, call 718-507-TIXX.
Our director here in the booth, Fran Healy, widely approves of that shot.
Oh, that's a beautiful shot, isn't it? You know, there's a lot of romantics here at Shea Stadium. About once a night, somebody will propose to whoever they're with.
And they're batting 1,000, by the way, on the Diamond Vision board as Brant Brown takes a strike. We have never seen a refusal, have we?
You ever think that there might have been some reconsiderations after to leave the atmosphere of the ballpark? That's what you told me.
Breaking ball misses. 1-1 to Brant Brown, who's trying to secure a starting spot for the second time this year with the Pirates. Gave him a starting job in the outfield out of spring training. The former Chicago Cub. He struggled, found himself on the bench. Pirates have had all kinds of injury problems this year. So Brown with another opportunity. They've had, in fact, right now, they have 12 men on the disabled list. They have had at one time or another 18 entries on the DL this year.
Well, Al Martin changed Gene Lamont's idea about his ability.
Brown hits this one well to left field. There's some room, though, for Henderson. 1 man away.
It used to be tough to change a manager's mind about his evaluation or a general manager's mind, but more and more today you hear a manager or a general manager say, well, you know, I might have been wrong. Let me get a better look. And Brant Brown is trying to find a home here in Pittsburgh in front of Gene Lamont. Al Martin supposedly has found a home because he was literally gone.
Fastball misses inside to Joe Oliver. A week ago, he was in the minor leagues, a little more than a week ago, actually, but after Jason Kendall went down with the injury, and then Keith Osick, his replacement, also wound up on the disabled list. Osick has a strained left hamstring. The call went out to Joe Oliver, and it cost Jose Guillen. Tampa Bay Devil Rays giving up Oliver. Fouled off to the right side, a ball and 2 strikes.
Oliver was a starting catcher for a number of years in the major leagues, and quite honestly, this day and age, it's a surprise to me that he went back to the minor leagues, but he finds himself in the big leagues here with Pittsburgh, and probably will catch for a while with Kendall out.
1-2 from Hershiser. And the sinker off the outside corner, 2-2.
One thing that Oliver has in his favor besides his uniform number is
unique the way those numbers go down.
He's a veteran. So with the word veteran, you assume that he calls a good game. That's what the Pirates want for a kid like Kris Benson.
Hershiser missed with a sinker again, the count full.
They won't look for much with the bat from Joe Oliver. What he gives them will be great. What they want him to do is catch the young pitching staff.
And the payoff pitch wrapped onto the ground. That's exactly what Hershiser wanted. Ventura throws out Oliver, 2 men away.
And quite honestly, the rationale behind that, you get a veteran catcher to handle young pitching staff, in my opinion, a bit overrated, because young catchers can handle the staff as well as a veteran. Just because you get 15 or 10 years in the big leagues is not going to make you more proficient in calling a game.
Well, we were talking last night about it, and I know you've said this most of the time anyhow. A pitcher, in this case Kris Benson, who's batting now, is going to call his own game. I was talking to Todd Pratt about that before today's game, because we showed you Pratt sitting with Kenny Rogers last night going over the hitters. So Pratt's going to catch Kenny in Rogers' Mets debut tomorrow, and Todd said, hey, I'm just going to let him pitch the way he pitches. We weren't doing anything out of the ordinary looking at those hitters. Easy play for Ordonez, and an easy inning for Orel Hershiser. Gets the Pirates in order, so after the slow start, he now has 5 in a row. Middle of the second, still 1-0, Pittsburgh. And I suppose numbers are something we ought to talk about tonight when they pertain not just to the sun, the moon, and the stars and all the romantic stuff, but to the umpires, because some big news made tonight when it was announced that 1/3 of the 68 umpires who had handed in their resignations are going to lose their jobs, but the rest will be hired back. So what looked like a mass resignation as of September 2nd has basically gone by the boards, but 25 umpires have already been hired from the minor leagues. So 13 National League umps and 9 American League umps will lose their jobs. The ball line foul by Robin Ventura leading off the second inning. So 22 umps will be gone, 25 new ones will be forthcoming, and everybody else will be back on the bases and behind the plate. And last night we speculated as to the future of Richie Phillips. I wonder what this does to him.
Well, you wonder about the union itself. Not only Richie Phillips, but more importantly, how about the picture of Robin Ventura up in a diamond vision board?
Well, it's 2-1 on the field.
It's a bad night. But getting back to the umpires, you hope it works out for the umpires, but obviously there's some major problems.
Bouncing ball. Morris plays it short right field. Throws out Ventura. 1 gone.
Baseball clearly making a statement to the umpires. You know, years ago when they started their union, an umpire from my hometown of Holyoke, Massachusetts, was one of the leaders. His name was Ed Healy. And he, from what I understand, was very, very tough on the play. A very tough umpire during the course of a game. And one of the things they fought for was a retirement age. And I believe, and I don't know if it's changed, it was 65. And about a year later, Ed turned 65, and they said, see ya. He said, I'm not going anyplace. They said, you got it. You're 65 years old. So right after he fought for something, they enforced it.
Benny Agbayani, first ball hitting. Thrown out by Nunez. 2 men away. Mets fans, the official Mets catalog has the best selection of authentic Mets apparel, and now you can shop online. Visit the Mets website at www.mets.com and click on the official Mets catalog icon. See those great-looking jerseys, T-shirts, caps, and jackets. That's www.mets.com.
Well, you know, talking about that umpire situation, it really is amazing what has happened.
You know who that is, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
That's Stadium.
Doesn't look like him.
Just wearing a Power Rangers cap.
He's wearing somebody. Who had that hat on before? Alfonso?
Matt Franco.
Matt Franco. I guess they're using the same hat.
The only one we haven't figured out is Alfonso.
Well, Robin Ventura is probably on his way up on the elevator to go to the scoreboard that had that picture changed he had up there.
Or dancing. He might have been at some punk rock club where that picture was taken. I don't know.
He's unhappy about the at-bat. He's unhappy about the picture.
Cedeno drops it down. Benson will have to hurry, and he gets him. Might have looked routine, but under the circumstances, that's good play by the pitcher Kris Benson to throw out Cedeno. Mets go in order in the second at the end of 2. Pittsburgh leading the Mercury Mets. the course with the elite of the senior PGA. Gary Player, Lee Trevino, Chi-Chi Rodriguez, Raymond Floyd, and many others. For special advance tickets, call 516-674-GOLF. We go to the third inning. Pirates leading the Mets because of Al Martin. He takes a strike from Hershiser. Martin launched a home run. His 15th of the year to start this ball game.
He got that pitch up above the belt that Martin hit over the left field wall. Now he's really trying to stay down. Take a look. The ball really didn't do anything. We mentioned how Hershiser's money pitches that sinker. Ball did nothing except go over the left field wall. And that's why the game is 1-0. New handshake.
I like that one.
Yeah, well, helmet shake. The Pirates were the pioneers in the handshake in Major League Baseball.
Bounced foul. Yeah, but I mean, that was subtle, understated, kind of classy, and hats off, right? I like that one. No body parts or bashing.
You know, I've told this story before. I remember when Flip Wilson was on TV. Gary Maddox, when he was at the Giants, used to do that whole Flip Wilson thing with Bobby Bonds.
Pulled to Alfonso at second, and there's one away.
After a home run, which Bobby Bonds did a lot, leading off the game, he'd step at home plate. Gary Maddox would do the whole thing. One night in San Francisco, the Phillies come in. It was a Friday night. Now remember Bobby Bonds going to Gary Maddox, and he said, if I hit a home run tonight, don't do that. Well, sure enough, bang, home run, first pitch, goes around. Gary Maddox does the whole thing. Pitcher winds up first pitch, separate his helmet from his head. The pitcher was Steve Carlton.
Pretty good bunt by Nunez, but Ventura gets there. 2 men away.
Now, Robin Ventura anticipated that bunt. He was on top of this. Nunez lays down a pretty good bunt, but Ventura, anticipating, barehands the ball, a la Brooks Robinson, flips to first base. Matt Franco receiving that throw, and they get Nunez by a whole lot on a perfect bunt.
Brian Giles takes high for a ball. Giles popped to second in the first inning. Pirates a run on 2 hits, and the Mets nothing on 1. Two and nothing to Giles. Milwaukee and Atlanta 1-1, last of the second at Turner Field.
Florida beating the Phillies 6-0.
On the outside corner, 2-1.
Well, you got to like this guy as a hitter. Last night we were talking about his bat speed. He had a couple doubles in last night's game. He's got a good build, 5'10", 200 pounds. Brian Giles.
Wrapped foul, 2-2. Giles came over from the Indians for left-handed reliever Ricardo Rincon.
Hit a double into left field last night. Doesn't matter because they're shifting him to pull the ball. They have more literature on Giles and the hitters they're playing against. It's just amazing, all the reports. So they won't go on the double last night. They'll go on his body of work.
Soft liner, and Alfonso times his leap. So once again, the Pirates go in order. Still 1-0, Pittsburgh. Plane about to leave Mercury, headed back to Shea Stadium, where Ray Ordonez takes on the inside corner.
There he is, Mr. Met. A guy with a baseball for a head. He's got a nice helmet on it.
Interesting question was posed recently. 0-1 to Ordonez by Mike Santini, our esteemed producer. When you've got a head the size of Mr. Met's, or for that matter, Ray Ordonez's, why would you need a helmet? Seems like you got all the protection you need.
And Mr. Met has a sensitive head, even though it's gigantic.
Outside with a slider, 1-2.
We were talking about Oliver, the veteran catcher, catching the young right-hander Kris Benson. Benson has been a star wherever he's pitched. I would be surprised if he can't veto a veteran catcher in the major leagues.
Warren Morris up with it. Throws out Ordonez. One gone here in the Mets' third. This copyrighted telecast is authorized under television rights granted by the New York Mets solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the New York Mets is prohibited. Probably listening to Gary Cohen and Bob Murphy on WFAN as Orel Hershiser takes a strike from Benson. Hershiser 6 out of 37 this year. Don't forget that stolen base. Picked up in Montreal last week.
Had a couple hits in that ball game. Stole a base. Told Roger Cedeno, first pitch, watch it.
You know, since the end of World War II, he's only one of 3 pitchers aged 40 or older with a stolen base. Jim Cott and Danny Darwin, the others. The oldest pitcher, thanks to tireless research engineered by the Elias Sports Bureau, the oldest pitcher ever to steal a base, Cy Young, in 1909 at the age of 42. You talk about records that'll never be broken. I mean, there's nobody going to come probably within 185 games or so of Cy Young's 511 wins.
It's impossible to compare different eras in baseball. I mean, pitching today, Cy Young would be one of 6 pitchers in the starting rotation, or 5.
Line drive, base hit left field. Cut off by Martin. Hershiser with a big turn, but he'll hold on at first.
Yeah, you were getting on Orel Hershiser up there in Montreal about his hitting, and since then he's picked up 3 hits. Here he picks up a hit tonight. Valuable acquisition when the Mets went out and picked up the 40-year-old pitcher, and here he picks up a base hit. Some indecision out there between Giles and Martin. Hershiser with the wide turn and then retreats to first base. So the Mets now have 2 hits.
And the Pirates, of course, have to be aware of that stolen base. You could almost see a little smirk on the face of Orel Hershiser there as Ricky Henderson made real good contact his first time up and lined it right to the shortstop Nunez. Couldn't check his swing there. 0-1.
And Howie, we've talked about this in the past. The way the pitchers, they're in great shape. They do more running than anybody else. If they practice sliding, they could occasionally, not a whole lot, but occasionally steal an important base. Not just to run for running's sake, but steal an important base and get into scoring position. But if a pitcher gets hurt, sliding into second base or third base, the manager would be second guessed forever.
Remember, Hershiser was the runner at first when Henderson was up.
How about
lined
this?
a base hit, would have had his 1000th RBI.
How about that picture? 2 40-year-old players.
Well, this is what happened last week. The Mets were in Montreal. Hershiser decided to tell Roger Cedeno exactly what was going to happen.
Yeah, he told me that. What? Watch Cedeno's
I
reaction.
leaned over to Roger. I said, I'm going to steal. I'm going to steal on the first pitch. And he goes, yeah. I said, you watch me. I'm going to go. And I went by Cookie, and I said the same thing. Cookie, I'm coming to visit you on the first pitch. I just had a feeling that Steve Klein wasn't going to check me. And I figured at this point in the game, we're up by 4. And I just went for the walking lead, and he never looked. And I just went for it.
Went for it, and he got it. So you got to pay attention to him.
It was interesting, Cookie Rojas's reaction when Hershiser walked by and said that to him. Cookie started yelling out to him as he was walking away, and he didn't turn around.
Now Benson deals, and the breaking ball picked by Sprague to second for 1, back to first, not in time. Hershiser went in hard at second base, trying to erase the double play possibility, and Henderson did the rest.
Well, can he still run? He get down to first base in a hurry. Sprague picking that ball and flipping to second base for the force out. Henderson hitting on top of the ball. In between up. Nice play by Sprague, flipping to second base, and a return to the relay to first. You don't get Henderson. And Hershiser was determined to go into second base with a hard slide, and he's saying, did I do my job? Ed Sprague, the third baseman with the Pirates, 21 errors so far this year.
So Alfonso just settling into the batter's box now. He took a little extra time to try and give Hershiser a breather. See if he takes a pitch here, and he does. It's a strike. A lot of times a hitter will do that when a pitcher has been running the bases. or simply makes an out. You're down to your last out of the inning. You want to give the pitcher a little extra rest before he's got to go out to the mound. So Alfonso, deliberate getting into the box, took the first pitch, and that throw over ought to give Hershiser all the rest he needs. That and the ammonia water.
It's a refreshing feeling, especially if somebody else puts the towel on. You don't have to put your hands in the ice cold ammonia water. Now, if you're a 210 hitter, you got to do that yourself.
Still don't know what's the difference between a towel with ammonia water and a towel with ice water.
It's all psychological.
Line off the glove of Sprague. Henderson pulls in at second. Alfonso aboard at first. Ball was hit hard and should go as a base hit. We'll wait for the official announcement, and now it is. Scored a single by Alfonso, so the Mets have 2 on with 2 out from Matt Franco.
Ball jumped off the bat of Edgardo Alfonso, and Ed Sprague diving for it, knocked it down. Looked like that ball was sinking as Sprague dove for it.
So the Mets threatening with 2 out. Alfonso at first with Henderson at second. Matt Franco singled his first time at bat. Pirates play him straight up, both on the infield and in the outfield. Matty making his second start at first base this year, his 10th start overall. And the 0-1 taken for a strike. It's 0-2. So Benson showing pretty good stuff. Seeing his fastball and slider. You saw the curveball there, which he hasn't thrown quite as much as the other 2. And he's ahead of Franco. No balls and 2 strikes. Benson, 24 years of age. And the 0-2 pitch downstairs. Nice stop by Oliver. So Henderson back to second. I think these uniforms are futuristic. Ask Matt Franco if he thought he'd pitch in the major leagues this year. Probably would have thought he'd need to wait to the next century and well into it before he did that. Matt Franco did pitch an inning against the Atlanta Braves. Just missed. 2-2.
And that last pitch to Matt Franco. Ball just dropping right out of the strike zone.
So it'll be a 2-2 pitch to Franco. Benson deals. Roll to the shortstop. Nunez goes the short way and loses. Morris looked to be slow getting to the bag. And Alfonso, hustling down the line from first, beat him there.
Yeah, that can't happen. And you're a second baseman. You got to get over there and cover second base. Looks like Morris just assumed that Nunez was going to first base. But Alfonso, well, I think he was out. But no, Morris, no argument from Morris. Take another look. The flip to second base. Did he beat him? The bang-bang play at second base. That should never happen.
Piazza first ball hitting Sprague will go that way again. And Morris is there. The side retired. So the Mets leave the bases loaded here in the 3rd inning. Still 1-0 Pittsburgh. 4th inning, time for our Aflac trivia question for tonight. Got to go back a while to find the last time the Mets were 20 games over the 500 mark. They win tonight. They'll be that far over. We'll give you the answer in the bottom half of the inning. We go to the 4th. Kevin Young just does get out of the way of that pitch from Hershiser. Communication, if it doesn't happen on the field, you know it'll happen in the dugout, Fran.
Yeah, when you're a coach on a team that has young players, you got to talk to them immediately. And Morris has to get over to second base and cover second. Nunez, he just assumed was going to go to first base with that throw. Bill Mazeroski has worked with Morris in spring training, not during the season in Pittsburgh. And one of the things he worked on was getting over to second base and turning the double play. Morris, a candidate for Rookie of the Year.
If you're tutored by Bill Mazeroski, you're tutored by one of the very best who ever played that position. Fly ball, right field, deep and down the line, and it's one hop off the wall, but a foul ball. Or, I'm sorry, a ground rule double. Ground rule double for Kevin Young. And the Pirates get the leadoff man in scoring position here in the 4th inning.
Well, Kevin Young is the Thunder, at least one of the guys in the Pirate lineup with thunder in his bat. We saw him hit a home run in last night's ball game. Watch him dive into this pitch. Hits the ball the other way, and it one hops over the right field fence, so a ground rule double for Kevin Young. But he really dives into the pitch. That's why you try to pitch those good hitters inside. You just don't want to make a mistake and get that ball out over the plate.
So Ed Sprague takes ball 1 from Hershiser. Sprague was caught looking his first time up. That's trailing 1-0. We're in the 4th. 2 balls, no strikes on the Pirate third baseman who had 2 hits in last night's game. Well, with all the problems the Pirates have had behind the plate, what with the injuries to Kendall and Keith Olsen, and talked to Sprague about putting on the gear once in a while too. He has caught before. Soft line drive to center. Here comes Cedeno, but he's got to play it on a hop. At the very least, that meant that Young had to hold up, so now he goes to third. And Sprague on with a single. The Pirates have runners at the corners with nobody out.
I talked to Sprague before the ball game about his ability behind the plate. He said he's caught about 18 games in the major leagues, and here's a ball dropping in front of Roger Cedeno. And Kevin Young had to hold on at third base. So right now, with nobody out, Orel Hershiser with Sprague on first and Young on third. Hershiser has to reach deep down and get that sinker to induce a double play.
He's got a couple of left-hand hitters to deal with. This is Warren Morris. Behind him, Brant Brown. Mets are set up for 2 on the infield. They'll trade a run here if they can get 2 outs. At least that's how they're lining up.
And our in-game box score, 1 home run in this game. Al Martin leading off, took a Hershiser fastball and hit it over the left field wall.
Line foul, 1 ball, 1 strike to Warren Morris. Good a year as he's having for the Pittsburgh Pirates. The Texas Rangers are the team having thoughts about why they let him go. They needed pitching. They got Esteban Loaiza,
who ended up in the minor leagues for a little while this year.
So Kevin Young at third. Ed Sprague at first, and one of the leading contenders for the National League's Rookie of the Year award, Warren Morris. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Hershiser misses outside. It's 2-1.
A couple of guys in the Marlins team. Alex Gonzalez, the shortstop, and how about Preston Wilson, having a real solid season with the Marlins.
Bruce Haven too has put up some pretty decent numbers for the Marlins. 2 balls, 1 strike. Fouled away, 2-2. So the Pirates have out-hit the Mets 4-3, outscored them to this point 1-0. And Hershiser pitching through some difficulty here in the 4th with runners at the corners. Double play ball. Ordonez to Alfonso, to Franco, not in time.
Good legs getting Morris down to first base.
So Young scores. Morris will get an RBI, and it's 2-0 Pittsburgh. He's fast. That looked to be tailor-made.
Yeah, he can really run, and if you watch the runner on third base, as soon as the ball is hit, he's gone. They're going to go for 2. They go 6-4, and they don't get the runner at first base. Morris beating the throw. Ball hit right at Ordonez. He goes to Alfonso over to first, but Morris beating the throw.
Ball 1 to Brant Brown.
Talk about Morris' speed. He can get down that baseline. He will bust it out of that batter's box, and he picks up an RBI because he beat the throw to first.
55 ribbies now from Morris. Although he has good speed, he has yet to get comfortable stealing bases. He only has 2, and he's been caught 4 times.
Yeah, that's kind of a surprise to me. A guy with that type of speed should be able to steal bases, and he's only going to help himself. He becomes more of an asset to the ball club with that type of speed if he can steal.
Fouled off, 2-1 on Brown. One reason Brown found himself on the bench earlier this year was because he did not hit at all with runners in scoring position. They were counting on him to drive in some runs. In fact, he's only 3 for 30 to this point with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. Right here, the only base runner is at first, so it's not a scoring position situation. But now with Guillen having been traded, Brant Brown's in the outfield every day.
And we've talked about that Guillen trade. It's amazing when you get into that doghouse. If you can't get out, you end up with another organization. But a lot of those players come back to.
Well, ball 4. Brown is aboard. And the Pirates have runners at first and second with 1 out, and Joe Oliver coming up.
Joe Oliver.
Second walk issued by Hershiser.
Saw Mike Piazza coming out of the chute in a hurry. He thought Morris was on the move.
Morris bluffed. He went about 5 steps and then stopped.
Fine line for a catcher. When you come out of that chute in a hurry, home plate umpires tend to complain that you're blocking their view.
Oliver bounced to third in the first inning. Hershiser would love to throw a ground ball here. And he does. Alfonso Ordonez. Wide throw, but Franco stays with it and applies the tag, and Hershiser gets the double play. So the Pirates settle for 1. There were 2 hits. And in the middle of the 4th inning here at Shea, 2-0 Pittsburgh.
Are you ready for the luck of the Irish?
Saturday, August 7th is Irish night. Adults will take home a green Mets cap courtesy of 1-800-Mattress, the original dial-a mattress. Be here as the Mets take on the Los Angeles Dodgers. Then stay for the post-game concert by Irish rock band Black 47. For tickets, call 718-507-TIXX.
Show up at Shea for Irish night and stay for the Black 47 concert.
Let's finish up our Aflac trivia question. The last time the Mets were 20 games over 500. Well, if they win tonight, they'll be 61-41, but you've got to go back to the end of the 1990 season. So it's been a while.
But it hasn't been a while for the play that ended last inning. And it's ground ball to Alfonso Ordonez at second base, avoiding the runner. High throw, Matt Franco gloves it. Gets Oliver at first base.
Robin Ventura pulls one through the hole for a base hit. So the first pitch of the 4th inning delivered by Benson winds up in right field. That'll bring up Agbayani. In case you're just tuning in, don't start playing with the TV trying to adjust the picture. This is simply part of a Major League Baseball promotion. Turn ahead the clock day. You've heard about turn back the clock, which has seen so many teams revert to traditional uniforms that might have been worn 30, 40, 80 years ago. Well, this is the Mets' idea of what their uniforms might look like deep into the 21st century. Benny Agbayani takes a breaking ball, 0-1. Just about half the teams in Major League Baseball are taking part in this promotion. Mets have dubbed themselves the Mercury Mets for the evening, figuring they'd be flying in from planet Mercury.
That's going to be a long road trip.
Think of the meal money.
Oh,
I know you would.
you were complaining about the possibility of going to Japan.
Well, are you kidding? That's one place I'd love to go.
Oh, yes.
What, are you kidding? Now, how can, with a chance to expand cultural horizons like that, you would say no to it?
Oh, I went over to Japan. I thought it was quite a trip.
Hawaii would be a nice idea. Benny Agbayani could say hi to some relatives.
And we can bring our in-game box with us. Matt Franco's 1 for 2.
And the 1-1 inside to Agbayani, 2-1. There's been some talk about the Mets playing some early season games next year in Japan against the Cardinals.
Mark McGuire didn't like the idea.
Yeah, that's got to be approved by the Players Association. So, I mean, there's no telling whether or not it would happen. And Bobby Valentine would be hailed as a conquering hero. He managed it. Up the middle, stopped by Benson. To Nunez, back to first. Nice pick by Young, and they turn the double play.
And Ventura with a hard slide at second base. Nice play by Nunez, getting that throw off, and Young picking it on the other end. So Ventura trying to break up the double play, getting the jump off first base. Benson grabbing that ball, flipping to second base, and Nunez trying to avoid the sliding Ventura. I think he had more time to set himself and make the good throw and then get out of the way. But nice play by Kevin Young to get the double play.
So now it's Roger Cedeno, was thrown out trying to bunt his first time up. You know, one of the things I'd love to see if we do go to Japan next year, some Japanese position players, because just about all of them who have come to North America have been pitchers. And I'd love to see some of the position players and how they hit, and whether or not there might be some eventual major league offensive talent in Japan.
Well, when I was over there broadcasting a ball game, they played some pretty good baseball. They had good, solid players. One thing I'll never forget, the place was mild. It was a sellout. The Giants, they say the Giants are a big draw over there. Even their television ratings are sky high if the Giants are not. They had a band. It was like a football atmosphere, high school or college football game.
Outside, 1 and 2.
And speaking of high school, their high school baseball games are very attractive. It's like when you're walking down the street in Tokyo and they have this high school baseball tournament on, everybody is listening to the high school baseball games.
Great to spend some time there and see how baseball's received. We know how popular it is, but how it differs culturally over in Japan from here. Love to be a part of that. And the 2-2 on the way to Cedeno. Takes care of that. So a leadoff single by Ventura. Nothing. Mercury Mets are back on earth. 5th inning. Here's Fran.
All right, Howie. It's 0-1 on Kris Benson. He just fouled off a pitch from Orel Hershiser. 2-zip the Buccos on top of the Mets. Hershiser in pursuit of his 10th victory of the season. Ground ball to third. Ventura to Franco, 1 down.
Hershiser's looking for his 11th victory of the year, his 201st lifetime after his serious injury. Did Dave Wallace ever think he'd get to 200?
Well, no, you really didn't, because at the time it was the first time the surgery was performed. You know, Dr. Jobe did an outstanding job and really told all of us, the physical therapist in LA, Pat Screener, we don't know what to expect because this is the first time we've done this. But their work, Orel's work ethic after the operation, and days, and he didn't want to do anything, felt like it was to no avail. To come all the way back, and really probably took him a full year of competition before he was all the way back. So it was just outstanding.
He'll face Al Martin right now, and Martin takes a strike. It's 0-1 on Martin, who's 1 for 2. Martin homered, leading off the ball game. Speaking of Orel Hershiser, he leads the Mets staff with 10 wins this year. He's by far the oldest pitcher ever to win 10 games, as Martin grounds to Franco. Hershiser beats Martin. 2 down.
That's pretty good. You were able to see that one from up here. That was so close. But yet your eagle eyes made the call right away. You know, they've got some openings.
Yeah. You know, it's a tough job, but as long as we can do it from up here, it's easy. Nobody can argue. They got to take the elevator upstairs.
Well, Hershiser just did get to the bag ahead of Al Martin. Well, judge for yourself. Martin pulls the ball to the right side. Hershiser needs a little time to get over there.
See, you know, Orel said he's out.
So you got 6 umpires, 4 on the field, Fran, Healy, and now Hershiser.
Orel and I are on the same page. 2 minutes gone. Abraham Nunez, the batter. He's 1 for 2. He takes up high. Ball 1. Talking about Hershiser at 40 years old, the oldest pitcher ever to win 10 games in a season for the Mets, surpassing Mike Torres, who was 10-17 at age 37. Outside to Nunez. 2-0.
Hey, speaking of Torres, did you see the suggestion that Mike
Yeah.
Torres made as far as this umpire conflict is concerned? He said rather than look for people who are inexperienced per se, let retired baseball players serve as umpires.
You know, when you read the article, it's not a bad idea. I mean, you don't want to be taking the umpire's jobs, but you were going to ask somebody to umpire, and a retired player with some glasses on might be able to fill the bill.
All right, now you qualify. You've got the glasses. You're retired a bunch of years. Now, what would you, in your opinion, have to learn or get a feel for about umpiring, given that I assume you have never umpired in your life?
Well, the biggest thing you'd have to learn is when they talk to you, you don't want to be talking back to them. You're used to talking to the umpire, yelling at him.
Well, we know you're diplomatic.
Thank you very much.
From a technical standpoint, would it be a big deal?
No, I don't think so, especially for somebody who's been behind the plate. Now, it might be for some guys who never got behind the plate. Brian Giles just took a ball. If you've never been behind the plate, all of a sudden, you know, you're 50 years old and you got Orel Hershiser throwing at sinker, and you're going to tell whether or not it's a strike after you blink. Fly ball, left field. Henderson's there and makes the grab for out number 3. The Buccos strand a runner here in the top of the 5th inning. They failed to score, but they have a 2-0 lead, and we'll be back. Ordonez, who's 0 for 1, will lead it off for the Mets as we go to the bottom of the 5th. He'll be followed by Orel Hershiser and then Ricky Henderson. Facing Kris Benson. Ordonez hits a ground ball to second base. Morris to Young, 1 down. Now let's go downstairs to Matt Lachlan. Matty, where are you?
Oh, Fran, I'm in the low section. The fans are enjoying tonight's game. They'd enjoy it a lot more if the Mets came up with some runs. But I want to talk about John Franco, who had the middle finger on his left hand examined today. Now, there's good news and bad news. The progress in terms of healing is good. The doctor was very pleased. Unfortunately, that finger has to remain in a cast for another 3 weeks or so. So the initial prognosis was 3 to 10 weeks. He's a little ahead of schedule, but it'll be some time before he'll be able to throw without the splint. Fellas?
All right, Matty, and Orel Hershiser is the batter. He takes inside, ball 1. Kris Benson was the first pick in the 1996 amateur draft. And here's the 1-0 pitch. Swung on and missed. 1 ball and 1 strike. Benson is one of only 10 pitchers to be selected #1 overall since the draft started in 1965. Throws a breaking ball inside to Hershiser.
You know why high school were the 7 best years of my life? Because when I was figuring out before how old Hershiser is and how old Benson is and how old Orel would have been when Benson was born, I was off by a couple of years.
That's okay. Ground ball is short. Munoz to Young. 2 down.
Orel would have been about 16. I had him at 14. But anyway, coming up tonight at 11:30 on MSG, tune in for the full half-hour edition of MSG Sports Desk with your host, Marv Albert. Later, keep informed on the national sports scene with Fox Sports News. That's tonight at midnight on MSG Network. It's more than just a game.
And Ricky Henderson will be the batter. He's 0 for 2. Now, when you were 7 years in high school, the guys in the truck want to know if you worked in your credibility because of this stance you've taken on Japan.
This is a cheap shot. Somebody's after me about something.
I'm just a messenger.
Just trying to start trouble.
0-1 on Ricky Henderson. They are hammering away. Break it ball. 0-2.
Remember the sign man behind third base, Carl Earhart? When the Mets won the World Series, he held up a sign in 1969 that simply said, "There are no words." And looking at that picture of Ricky Henderson, he was right.
Hope Ricky doesn't get a look at it.
Oh, he has. Was that third eye always there?
Yeah.
That's how he's such a great base stealer. Some guys have eyes in back of their head. He's got an extra one in front.
1-2 on Ricky Henderson. Breaking ball misses up high. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Nice crowd on hand tonight for the second game of this 3-game series. And tomorrow afternoon, keep in mind, an afternoon contest here at Shea. Seats still available. Mets a half game behind the Braves coming into tonight's action. Ground ball short. Nunez to Young. That'll do it for the Mets here in the 5th. 3 up, 3 down. Benson cruising. So are the Pirates. They have a 2-0 lead. Young will lead it off for the Buccos here in the 6th inning. We showed you Kevin Young diving into the ball. Good hitters. They dive in. Very aggressive with that bat. And it's 2-zip. The Pirates on top of the Mets. Hershiser's first pitch to Young is the ball. Now watch Kevin Young when he swings that bat, and Mike Piazza. They go right in, leading with that front shoulder, and then bang. Good swing. Head down on the ball. Young hitting a home run in last night's ball game, and Piazza hitting a home run against those Yankees. Young takes down low. 2-0.
Well, if you were watching last night when Young hit his home run, we talked about how Piazza-esque it was, but more along the lines of the path the ball took and where it wound up. But looking at those swings, there's a lot more in common than you might realize.
It's 2-1 now on Kevin Young. And the ball gets in on him. It's a fly ball to center field, deep center field. Cedeno makes the grab. 1 down. Now, once again, take a look. I'll give you a split screen of Piazza, one of the best hitters in all baseball. And Young, who's having a solid year. Watch Piazza go into the ball and watch the discipline of his head on the ball. You'll see both guys' head right on the ball, looking down. Young looking down. Now, when they hit the ball, you know, in baseball you talk about, you hear announcers say you don't want them to get their arms extended. Well, nobody really drives the ball hard if their arms are completely extended. Ed Sprague hits the ball hard, foul. Usually you're hitting the ball and then your arms get completely extended and the follow through. I remember for years they talked about the top hand. You would hear the old-time hitting instructors yell, you know, give him that top hand. Well, you don't want to give too much top hand. You'll smother the ball. You hit it, and then the hand comes through. Right there, that ball got in on Young.
I didn't know there were old-time hitting instructors. I thought that phenomenon only started about 20 years or so ago.
I shouldn't say old. Maybe in the
Did you have one coming up through the minor leagues?
My first hitting instructor was a great player. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That's a strike. 1-2. When I was a kid, I signed with the Cleveland Indians. I was about 18 years old. The first hitting instructor I ever dealt with, only in spring training. The great Al Rosen, who had some outstanding seasons in the major leagues. But then I don't believe he was a hitting instructor during the year.
I've meant more at the major league level. I know every organization.
Well, the first
minor league hitting instructor.
Let's see, the first hitting instructor on the major league level that players embraced his philosophy, Charlie Lau. The old-time hitters still criticize Charlie Lau, but I have never seen a hitting instructor who was listened to by established players like Charlie Lau. And George Brett was a great example.
Oh, it's touching hearing George Brett talk about Charlie Lau during his induction ceremony on Sunday.
Now, the hitting instructors today, on the whole, are more in tune with the players today. Years ago, the coaches used to be the buddy of the manager. They'd sit in the dugout, the guy would make a mistake, and they'd say, we're never going to win with this guy. They'd never instruct him. There's a drive down the left field line. There should be extra bases for Warren Morris. Ball in the corner, and Morris rounds second base, but holds on with a double.
So you want to give Lloyd McClendon some credit. He's the hitting instructor for the Pittsburgh Pirates and a former Met, in fact. And here Warren Morris takes the pitch the other way, hitting it where it was. That pitch running away from Morris on the outside part of the plate. That's a good piece of hitting by Warren Morris, who comes up with a two-base hit.
In fact, you mentioned McClendon, and Ed Sprague told me before the ball game that when he decided to stand at the plate, as you watch Brant Brown walk, when Sprague decided to stand at the plate in that unorthodox manner, McClendon helped him in the batting cage in Florida. The hitting instructors are much more involved, like all the coaches in baseball today. Pitching coaches, hitting coaches, the outfield coach. Well, years ago, you didn't get that type of instruction on the major league level. Mickey Brantley, who works closely with the Met hitters. Before him, Tom Robson. We got Dave Wallace, who's on top of every pitch Hershiser's thrown tonight. Al Martin talking about hitting. Saw Bobby Bonilla talking to John Overwood before the ball game, talking about swinging that bat. And Joe Oliver takes down low ball one. I guess years ago, Howie, it was the players talking to each other more so than getting instruction from the coaches. But that's all changed. And the 1-0 pitch to Oliver, swung and a missed. I think one of the greatest helping devices ever, videotape. You can go into the clubhouse, I mean, if you're crazy enough, you can go in during the game and take a look at your last at bat. Or right after the game, you can take a look at your 4 at bats during the
You could take it home with you now.
Yeah. Nice play by Piazza. 2-1.
The pitch had backstop written all over it. But a nice backhand stop by Piazza prevented it from going there. Of course, this ball was thrown pretty hard. And Piazza, with a good play to get the glove down, had it gone to the backstop, it had a lot of velocity, so much so it might have come right back to Piazza, because the backstop is closer to home plate here now than it used to be.
2-1 on Joe Oliver. Oliver grounded out and also grounded into a 4-6-3 double play in the 4th. Takes the breaking ball down low. 3-1 on Oliver. He'll be followed by the pitcher, Kris Benson. Third base is open. We have runners on second and third, or I should say second and first. You got Morris on second, Brant Brown on first. There's Kris Benson, the pitcher, on deck. It's a nasty strike.
On 3-1, Hershiser. It's that sinker over. Now it means that the base runners, Morris and Brown, will be in motion on a payoff pitch to Joe Oliver.
And the 3-2 pitch. Ball 4. Bases are loaded with Pirates.
Well, Hershiser just did not want to give Joe Oliver anything to hit there. He threw him a breaking ball on 3-2 because he knows the pitcher is going to hit for himself, Kris Benson. So he throws the breaking ball in the dirt, and the bases are now loaded with 2 out. And Dave Wallace just wants to make sure Orel is okay, while Bobby Valentine, no doubt, looks to enlist some help in the bullpen.
And you got a situation now where you got a pitcher hitting. You'd like to throw him breaking balls and do away with them right away, but Hershiser's best pitch and his most effective pitch so far this year has been his sinker. So do you go out there and challenge the pitcher, Kris Benson, as Pat Mahomes starts to throw in the Met bullpen? Hershiser admitted after the game in Montreal he had no breaking ball. He had no changeup. So he went strictly with the sinker. 92 pitches for Orel Hershiser. 2 men are out. We're in the top of the 6th inning. Bases are loaded with Pirates. You have Morris, Brown, and Oliver on the bases. Benson the batter. Sinker down low, ball 1. Benson has a good build for a pitcher, about 6'4", 190 pounds. 24 years old. Takes a strike, 1-1 on Benson. In Atlanta, the Braves have a 4-2 lead over Milwaukee. Marlins have a 5-run lead. There's a bouncer. Ventura cuts it off. Over to Franco, and that'll do it. Hershiser pitches out of a jam. Buckles fail to score. They strand 3. We played 5.5 here at Shea, and it's Pittsburgh 2, New York 0.
Are you ready for some salsa?
Friday, August 6th is Hispanic Night. Be here as the Mets take on Todd Hundley and the Los Angeles Dodgers in their only series at Shea this season. Then stay for the post-game salsa concert as Budweiser presents Victor Manuel. For tickets, call 718-507-TIXX. That's 718-507-TIXX.
Last of the 6th inning at Shea Stadium. It's our Coors Light Silver Bullet 6th. So the Mets will be hitting for Alan Oberblatt from New York. And if a Met homers this inning, Alan will get dinner for 2 at Bobby Valentine's restaurant in Stamford, Connecticut.
Well, Alan, you've got Edgardo Alfonzo, Matt Franco, and Mike Piazza. So you have some thunder coming to the plate. Beautiful Manhattan, New York. 2-0. Pirates on top of the Mets. We go to the bottom of the 6th.
Mets used to play in Manhattan. You know, the Polo Grounds on 155th Street and 8th Avenue in Upper Manhattan, just across the Harlem River from Yankee Stadium. Polo Grounds was home to the Mets in 1962 and 1963.
I used to take a train in when I was a kid from Massachusetts to watch Willie Mays play at Polo Grounds.
You hung around long enough, you could see him playing stickball in the streets, they used to say, too, in the neighborhood.
Leo DeRocher was the manager, Wes Western the catcher. And here we are in the year 2010. Is it 2010 or 2007?
I think they're talking about 2021.
Oh, 2021.
Time flies.
It does. It's just... Edgardo Alfonzo, 1 for 2 tonight, takes a strike from Benson. And Benson, so far, has been outstanding. He's allowed only 4 Met hits, no runs. The game has been clean and crisp. Alfonzo hits the ball off the end of the bat. Brant Brown underneath it and makes the grab, a 1 down. Now let's take a look at our Jeep game summary.
Well, the Pirates are the ones who have put up the runs tonight. Only 2 of them, but Al Martin gave them the instant lead, leading off the ball game with a home run. Warren Morris has helped out. Hershiser's been good, but Benson's been better. This kid's been very impressive. Kris Benson out of Clemson University. Made the team as a non-roster player with a tremendous spring training. Only gave up 2 runs this spring.
So the old man and the kid squaring off against each other tonight. Benson against Hershiser. At Franco, the batter, is 1 for 2 and fouls off the first pitch. Again, a reminder, tomorrow afternoon, 12 o'clock start here at Shea Stadium. The Mets and the Buccos, final game of the 3-game series. Seats still available, so it's supposed to be a beautiful day once again in New York. The 0-1 pitch. Fouled off, 0-2. We'll take a look at our Delta schedule.
Tomorrow's game features Kenny Rogers making his Mets debut against Todd Ritchie. We'll have that one for you here, and then the WB Channel 11 picks up the series at Wrigley Field over the weekend.
And the 0-2 pitch is outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Franco will be followed by Piazza. Mets need 2 to tie. It's getting late. Bottom of the 6th. Good fastball outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. I don't know about the numbers on the back of those Pirate uniforms. I like the way they had them in the year 1999.
Can't remember that far back. Hey, you got to play along, you know?
Absolutely.
It's fun. One night, want to do something a little different, have fun with it.
No fun for the Mets so far, trailing 2-0. Drives the ball to right field. Brown is under it and makes the grab, 2 down.
31,
Well, the Mets have spent most of this night hitting the ball into the ground against Benson. In fact, all 3 outs in the 5th inning, for example, were recorded on the ground. But now they've started to elevate a little bit. Alfonzo flew out to right field. Franco just missed this one. Just up the bat a little bit, missing the sweet spot. And he didn't miss a home run by more than about a fraction of an inch on that bat. So the question becomes, if they're starting to elevate against Benson, is that a sign that he's tiring?
Well, 2 men are out. Piazza 0 for 2. Takes a fastball for a strike.
Show you the point of contact again. just a little bit further down the bat, and he probably has a home run.
With the hips open, head down on the ball. 0-1 pitch to Piazza. Breaking ball misses outside. 1-1. It looks like Benson tonight has Piazza off balance. Piazza hitting .314. Good fastball on the corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Benson is second in the National League in rookies as far as wins are concerned, and he gets Piazza. So Benson continues to mow the Mets down here at Shea. We played 6. The Pirates have a 2-0 lead.
All right, Howie, well, as you know, it's turn the clock ahead night, and the Mets are headed back to the planet Mercury after this evening's game. Now, my good friend Mr. Met has decided to help me out when we take the rocket ship out, so I'm going to get ready here. Hold on. All right, here we go. We're going to head to the launching pad in just a little bit. Fellas, I hope you have your gear because it's a long ride. Good meal on the charter. We'll see you on the launching pad.
Speaking of launching, Al Martin hits one deep to right center, and that ball's gone. Second home run of the night for Al Martin, and the Pirates take a 3-0 lead.
Well, Al Martin hit the first home run in tonight's ball game over the left field fence. That was his 15th of the season. He just hit his 16th over the right field fence. And the old helmet shake.
So numbers 15 and 16 for Martin.
Martin going out and taking that sinker and hitting the ball over the wall. Going to be strong to take that ball that's out on the outside part of the plate and pull it.
So Al Martin, the star of the show for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Abraham Nunez takes a fastball upstairs.
Well, Martin's been happy all night when he hit a home run, his first at bat. We showed him in the dugout, kidding around like he's swinging the bat, talking, hitting, and just hit another home run.
Now Nunez lifts one to center. Cedeno turned the wrong way, but recovers. Cedeno playing Nunez, who has very little power, if any, shallow, understandably. So he had to do a quick spin to come up with that fly ball.
Well, the way Kris Benson is pitching, you don't want to give him too much of a cushion. He has a 3-0 cushion right now. He's throwing the ball very well.
Brian Giles, nothing out of 3, popped up twice to second. Also flied out to left. 1 ball and no strikes on the Pirates center fielder. Two and nothing on Giles. That's playing the left-hand hitting Brian Giles. With a moderate shift on the infield, you see Ordonez near the bag and Alfonso well into the hole, so naturally he goes the other way. Brian Giles confounding the scouting reports by shooting one to the left side.
Well, he did it a couple times in last night's ball game. And the Mets going over Giles' body of work and deciding to play him to pull. Usually you have 25, 30 home runs. You can pretty much assume that a home run hitter pulls a lot of his home runs.
Well, Mike Piazza's going to the mound, probably in a time buy for Jason Isringhausen. Pirates have a couple of right-hand batters coming up now. Kevin Young, Ed Sprague. And so Isringhausen might well get the call here. Home plate ump Angel Hernandez is going to go out to the mound and break up the conference, but all of this stalling allows Izzy to get a few more warm-up pitches in if, in fact, Bobby Valentine is inclined to pull Hershiser here. And Dave Wallace is going to make the move. So it was, in fact, a time buy. And Orel Hershiser, we expect, is now done for the night. Now Martin has helped drive Hershiser to the showers as Wallace makes the call for Isringhausen. So Orel Hershiser's work for the night is done. He will not pick up his 11th win of the year tonight. Gave up 2 long balls to Al Martin. And the Pirates have a 3-0 lead. They've got a base runner on first base with 1 out in the 7th. So Hershiser departs, and Jason Isringhausen will answer this on the point call to the bullpen. Now the Mets trailing the Pirates here 3-0 for a pretty big crowd here. Figure at least 35,000 in the ballpark tonight. And the way the Mets are stacking the letters on their Mercury Mets uniform, all they could fit in was the nickname Izzy rather than Isringhausen.
Well, it's up to Izzy right now to hold the Pirates. It's 3-0. The Pirates on top of the Mets. And Kris Benson is pitching a masterpiece for Pittsburgh. You see the stats, 5.71 ERA, but he said he's at home working out of the bullpen.
Kevin Young, 1 out of 2 with a walk. And Isringhausen throws a strike. When you pitch in relief, and particularly later in the ball game, you can get away with just 2 pitches. And Jason Isringhausen has 2 outstanding pitches when they're working, a live fastball and a real good, sharp knuckle curve.
You can pitch in the big leagues, 9 innings with 2 good pitches if you throw it in the right location. I think over the years we've heard people say that in order to pitch in the major leagues, you need 3 or 4 real good pitches. You have 2 good pitchers, you could be a winner in the big leagues.
Are you talking about anybody or Sandy Koufax, who had the blazing fastball and the terrific curveball? I mean,
how many pitches does Greg Maddux throw? He's not overpowering.
Well, his location is what makes it.
That's it. Location is the most important thing in the world. There's our in-game box score.
But how many pitchers can locate the way Maddux does?
Well, not many, but you can still. I mean, you change speeds off a fastball.
1-2 now to Young.
Throw a fastball change. I'll tell you, Ken Holtzman's a great example. A guy I caught. He had one of the best curveballs I've ever seen for a left-hander, and he refused to throw it. He would never throw his curveball. In fact, one time Billy Martin went out and said, "I want you to throw curveballs." He get out of the inning, left the game.
Now let's see if Izzy's got Young set up for a curve here on 1-2. Fastball, and he just got a piece.
Those pitchers with the Oakland A's in their glory years, they throw you fastball, 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 occasionally a breaking ball. See Izzy in that glove, gripping that pitch. And coming to the plate with a fastball, and it's fouled off by Kevin Young.
Still 1 ball, 2 strikes. And the 1-2 outside and low. Isringhausen throwing another fastball.
You're talking about more than 2 pitches. Sometimes a pitcher has more than 2 pitches, and it takes away from the 2 good pitches. See Piazza flashing those signs to Isringhausen.
And the 2-2 pounded to Ventura. There's one, back to first, not in time. Giles got down the line quickly.
A good hustle by Young to beat the throw to first base. I was surprised he beat the throw. He's got good speed. And Young hitting his ball, the fastball, he pulled it, hit out in front of home plate. Ventura quickly getting it to second, and Alfonso to first, but Young beating the throw. Busting right out of the batter's box. One of the faster running first basemen in the game. Good hard slide. And Young beats the throw.
So Young the runner at first with Giles erased. 0-1 now to Ed Sprague.
Izzy staying with that heater.
Pirates leading 3-0. We're in the 7th. About hit New York 7-4. Young is running the pitch in the dirt. Piazza won't even bother. So Kevin Young picks up his 16th stolen base of the year.
And Mike Piazza just couldn't get the handle on the ball, so he did not throw to second base. Young with a good jump. You know what? I think Mike Piazza felt that Young just had too big a jump. I couldn't throw him out, so
I think he just
held on to the ball. Wise move.
Nice stop by Piazza, 2-1. Jason Isringhausen last worked in Sunday's game against the Chicago Cubs. Is he getting used to working in some cases every other day, 3 out of 5 days? It's a big adjustment for someone who's used to starting, especially one who's had arm problems. And the 2-1 pitch. Foul straight back.
I think that there are certain pitchers who are made internally to come out of the bullpen. You know, every day you have an opportunity to get into the game. And a great example is Raleigh Fingers. One of the reasons Raleigh stopped as a starting pitcher was because he used to get sick before he pitched if he was a starter. So they moved him to the bullpen, and they used him every day. How many times can you get sick?
They wound up winning all those Rolaids or relief awards.
Yeah.
There's a story there. There's the breaking ball, but it misses, and now the count full.
Yeah, just think he had the upset stomach before he was a starter. Couldn't do it as a reliever.
There's a hockey goalie named Glenn Hall who played, I think, 802 consecutive games, and he got sick before every one of them.
Must have been thin.
He'd start the game, and he'd go 3 periods. And he was a little chunky, actually. Payoff pitch on the way, fouled back.
Just think if he didn't get sick before the game. I say Bill Russell was the same way. Great center, Hall of Fame center for the Boston Celtics. We get sick before every game. But when you come out of the bullpen, it's different. Is he coming out of that bullpen? You know, you're not sure if you're going to be used. You got to be ready every day.
So is he peering in? 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. And the payoff pitch. Fastball up the middle, base hit. Around third, Young, he's coming home. Cedeno's throw is late, cut off by Franco. An RBI single for Ed Sprague, and the Pirates lead it 4-0.
Sprague's 62nd RBI on the season. Having a very good offensive year with the Pirates.
Number 30.
And Izzy goes right after Sprague. And Sprague hits the ball right back up the middle. Once again, Izzy going with that fastball on the outside part of the plate and just out of the reach of the diving Ray Ordonez.
So Sprague gets credit for the RBI, but give Kevin Young all kinds of credit for helping to build that run. His speed enabled him to beat out a potential double play ball. Low, 1-0 on Warren Morris. Then he stole second base to get into scoring position and was able to score on Sprague's ground ball through the middle. So an RBI for Sprague. A well-orchestrated run for Kevin Young and the Pirates. Morris doubled his last time up. Popped up and playable. Piazza in foul territory, puts it away, side retired. Time to stretch here at Shea, but first let's check in with Kevin Frazier, who's standing by at the Fox Network Center with this update.
This Fox Sports News Sports Break is brought to you by Original Coors.
I'm Kevin Frazier of Fox Sports News here with this sports break. Mark McGwire hit his 37th home run of the year Tuesday, but it wasn't enough as the Cardinals fell to the Giants 2-1. And the threat of a walkout by Major League umpires ended Tuesday with all of the umpires rescinding their resignation.
Classic is the only senior PGA Pro tournament on Long Island. It'll be at the Meadowbrook Club August 6th through the 8th. So get up close, walk the course with the elite of the senior PGA. Gary Player, Lee Trevino, Chichi Rodriguez, Raymond Floyd, and others. 516-674-GOLF, the number to dial for advance tickets. All right, Mets need 4 to get even. We're in the last of the 7th inning, 4-0 Pittsburgh. Robin Ventura batting against the story of this game, in large part, Kris Benson.
What the Mets have to do now is get him out of the game.
Outside, 2-0.
They got to get into the Pirate bullpen because he has handcuffed the Mets. Bobby Valentine. That was the past. Bobby Valentine with the mustache.
The one night past. 3 balls, no strikes on Ventura.
Boy, did he generate some publicity with that.
The Mets now trying to generate some offense here, trailing 4-0. Ventura hoping to get on and get something started. The 3-0 on the way, right there. 3 balls, 1 strike.
Benson's got, we mentioned his build. He's also got a nice delivery to the plate. Not a whole lot of motion. He's in complete control of his body. Helps his mechanics.
High fly ball, deep to right field. Round to the wall. That's a gunner. The Mets are on the board. 4-1 Pittsburgh. Home run number 19 for Robin Ventura.
Well, Benson challenged him, and Robin Ventura took him deep. He now has 77 RBIs. The challenge, and Ventura met the challenge with the head of his bat and drove it over the right field wall. What a year he's having.
Agbayani takes a fastball for a ball. Well, he talked about the fact the Mets have been hitting the ball into the ground much of the night, but they started to elevate against Benson in the 6th inning. He fell behind Ventura 3-0 here, threw a strike, and then Ventura launched one. Agbayani fouls it off to the right side, 1-1.
If you're elevating Benson, it's a telltale sign for Pete Vukovich and Gene Lamont, because Benson, when he's on, he produces nearly 2 outs on the ground for every out he has recorded in the air this season.
1-1 to Benny. That ball was hit deep to left field. It's hooking foul though. And a long strike for Agbayani. 1 ball, 2 strikes now to Benny.
Agbayani getting ahead of the bat a little bit too far out in front.
Been a while now since Benny's homer. The last one on June the 25th. A little over a month now. That was in Atlanta. Got jammed there, and Benson takes it himself.
Well, that's good pitching by Benson, because ordinarily when you give up that home run, you don't get over it right away. But he came back, got Agbayani to pull the ball foul, and then he got into his kitchen with a good fastball. Agbayani getting jammed. You don't want to hit that ball in that area because it's going no place except into Benson's glove in this instance. So good comeback by Benson.
Pitchers will break a lot of bats in there too. So now it's Cedeno. Benson misses low, 1-0.
But you watch Benson on the mound, he turns and he has good balance on that pivot foot and goes right to the plate. As you look at our New York Life in-game box.
Bouncing ball, Morris backs up and takes care of Cedeno for the 2nd out.
Yeah, Benson does. He looks a little bit like Glavine.
Yeah, facially.
Yeah, a taller version.
Now all I got to do is mention Mark McGwire to ruin Glavine's day.
6-2, the Braves on top of Milwaukee.
McGwire hit another home run, by the way, today, accounting for the only Cardinal run. Giants beat them 2-1. 37 from McGwire. So here's Luis Lopez for Ordonez.
They'll be coming into Shea Stadium shortly with those Cardinals.
He's really been on fire. That's about, was that about 10 home runs in 13 games or something for McGwire?
And Louis, how he will look year 2020.
Got that extra eye going too. Should draw some walks with that. But Benson hits the outside corner, and it's 0-2. Bouncing ball, Morris is there. A nice recovery by Kris Benson.
Good pitching by Benson. After giving up the home run here in the 7th inning, he gets 3 quick outs.
So Robin Ventura has accounted for the Mets offense so far. We'll go to the 8th. 4-1 Pittsburgh.
Leading off, 37, Brant Brown.
And we go to the 8th inning. Brant Brown to lead off for the Pittsburgh Pirates, who have a 4-1 lead over the New York Mets. Bottom third of the Pittsburgh batting order, and Jason Isringhausen overthrows a fastball, 1-0. Brown flew out to left in the 2nd inning, also walked, and was walked intentionally. That's making some changes here in the 8th inning. Fouled back by Brown, 1-1. Luis Lopez, who pinch hit for Adonia, stays in at shortstop. And there are some other changes as well. Benny Agbayani moves from right field to left field. Melvin Mora takes over in center field. Roger Cedeno goes to right, so Ricky Henderson out of the ball game. Upstairs with a curveball, 2-1. And Lopez now at shortstop. How far is this one going to go?
Wow.
Off the scoreboard. A long home run by Brant Brown. It's 5-1 Pittsburgh.
Don't see many balls hit like that here at Shea Stadium.
The Mets really are going to Mercury. There's going to be a baseball waiting for them when they get there.
But, I mean, we used to talk about Strawberry hitting balls like that years ago here at Shea Stadium. The ball hits off the scoreboard. Brant Brown trying to impress Gene Lamont, and he's doing it in this series. That's his 10th home run of the year.
One last night, one tonight. Fastball to Oliver for a strike.
Not going to see many balls hit harder than that ball. Brown knew it was gone. Just where was it going to end up?
1-1 to Oliver. When you hit that matrix section on the scoreboard, the black part of it with all the bulbs on it, then you know you've really launched one. Not that hitting the base of the board where the advertising is any mere bag of shells. But Brant Brown with a rocket.
He's been struggling in Pittsburgh. This might get him going. It's memorable if nothing else.
Remember the night Darryl Strawberry and Darryl Boston hit back-to-back right around the spot where Joe Oliver's name was just now? Actually, they weren't back-to-back. They were in the same inning, as I remember. Darryl Boston and Darryl Strawberry playing for the Mets in the early 90s. You usually don't see balls hit the scoreboard. The left-hand hitter that far over towards right center. Breaking ball popped up. Piazza hoping for a play. But he runs out of room.
You know, that has to help the hitters, the way Major League teams have moved the backstop closer to home plate. A lot of balls that would have been caught years ago are hitting the backstop and giving the hitters another chance to swing the bat.
A lot of teams have done this now, adding some extra seating behind home plate, moving the backstop a little bit closer. First year this seating's been in place here at Shea. Oliver lifts one to right field. Cedeno drifting over. One down.
In fact, a lot of the new stadiums, one of the attractive features teams are promoting is we are bringing the fans closer to the field. Therefore, they're taking some foul territory away.
That's okay. Nothing wrong with that. Provide as intimate a setting as possible. Pirates will have a new ballpark in a couple of years that will have just those features. So the pitcher Benson swings and misses. He's had a good night. He's grounded out 3 times as a hitter. But as a pitcher, he's limited the Mets to just Ventura's home run. 1 of 5 hits allowed by Benson. He's looking for his 8th win of the year. And the rooftop shot hit in the air, nowhere near the roof. Playable from Matt Franco. And in foul territory, that's the 2nd out.
If you just tuned in, John Olerud getting the night off. I wonder if Bobby will give John Olerud the day off tomorrow to get him strong. Mets go on the road following tomorrow's game. They head for Chicago and then on to Milwaukee.
Well, this is the Mets' 102nd game of the year, and John Olerud, one way or the other, has appeared in all of the previous 101. Remember now, the Mets will have the pitcher spot, Jason Isringhausen, due to lead off in the last of the 8th. And the right-hander Benson on the mound. Good chance you'll see Olerud. Line drive right at Lopez. Other options for Bobby Valentine, too. And we'll see how he decides to go with a pinch hitter. But Benson's been the big story for the Pirates, who lead 5-1. Tomorrow, the Mets and Pirates close out this series with a 12 noon matinee here at Shea. And then on Monday, the Mets will be back on Fox Sports Net New York at 8 o'clock. Alfonso and the Mets against Marquise Grissom and the Brewers. Plenty of action coming your way. Please check your local listings.
Jeremy Burnett's still out. Burnett was having a outstanding season when he was hit by a pitch.
Oh, the Mets down 5-1 here in the last of the 8th inning. Brian McRae will be the pinch hitter for Jason Isringhausen. And make sure to listen and watch Geico Mets on Deck tomorrow morning at 11:30 because Brian McRae will co-host the show along with Matt Loughlin. 0-1. McRae fouls it back. Well, in fact, did that last year.
Once again, Benson pinpoint with his control. He made one pitch that he regrets tonight. That was to Robin Ventura in the bottom of the 7th.
Oh, 2 to McRae, down and away. One change for the Pirates here in the last half of the 8th inning, a defensive change. Brant Brown leaves the game. That's Adrian Brown, who is now in right field. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Benson delivers. Breaking ball got him.
Well, every pitch, a purpose. On the corner with the fastballs, right there, he just dropped that overhand hook right into Joe Oliver's glove. You get a hitter with a high leg kick, you pull the string, and that's the end result. That leg's out there and down. Look at that, the collapse. And a good pitch from Benson.
He has been mighty impressive tonight. Remember when the Mets beat him in May? Melvin Mora takes inside for a ball. Bobby Valentine was pretty impressed. And you can see why here. Man, poise.
Well, even his mechanics, there's not a whole lot of jumping around. He has his body under complete control tonight.
Fastball to Mora, 1-1.
Talk about location, location, location. Well, that's location right there. Dave Wallace talking about that same real estate to Izzy.
Fouled away by Mora. The home run, by the way, that Brant Brown hit against Isringhausen off the scoreboard went 422 feet.
The secret to Benson's success tonight, he gets ahead. He's throwing the ball where he wants it in the strike zone. Look at the motion. The turn of the pivot foot, gets his weight, doesn't rush it out there, has everything in sync. They call it rhythm, and he's had it all night long.
And the 1-2 to Mora. Breaking ball gets him.
This kid is just overpowering and finessing the Mets all night. Take a look at this pitch. And once again, on the corner.
Now, Mets fans, the official Mets catalog has the best selection of authentic Mets apparel. Now you can shop online. Visit their website at www.mets.com. Click on the official Mets catalog icon. See all the great-looking jerseys, T-shirts, caps, and jackets. Alfonso with a foul ball, 0-1.
Well, pitching coaches will tell you when that front foot hits the ground, that's when you get that torque movement towards the plate. And that's where you get your power. Not really pushing off of that rubber. If you watch Benson, that front foot hits and around comes the rest of the body.
Breaking ball in the air, right center. Adrian Brown on the run, can't get it. Off the wall. Alfonso heading to second. And Edgardo Alfonso has a 2-out double, his second hit of the night.
Well, Benson doesn't feel like he should be even giving up hits tonight. Very upset when he gave up Ventura's home run, and upset right there, giving up the double to Alfonso going out, hitting a ball that was about belt high out over the plate. Benson was probably upset with the location of that pitch. But Alfonso hitting the ball hard in the right center field, short hopping the wall. And it was the Mets only their 6th hit of the night against the big right-hander.
One of the few mistakes he's made, a hanging slider. So Matt Franco takes the fastball up and away, 1-0. That with 1 for 3. Boy, you could tell too that Benson would love to get this complete game.
Oh,
just gone over the 100 mark in pitch deliveries, and that's not a lot here with 2 out in the 8th inning. Fastball fouled back, 1-1.
Well, this would be a huge confidence builder for Kris Benson. He would even his record at 8-8, pitching against a good offensive team, a team that doesn't make that many mistakes at the plate. Pete Vukovich certainly would like to see Benson get the complete game victory.
Alfonso at second with 2 away. Warren Morris is there, and the inning's over. So just the 2-out double by Alfonso. And Kris Benson has shut the Mets down pretty effectively through 8 innings. We go to the 9th here at Shea, 5-1, Pirates. To control this game from the very beginning when Al Martin led off the first inning with a home run. Kris Benson has been terrific on the mound for the Pirates tonight. He had long ball help. Martin would hit his 2nd home run of the game. And when Robin Ventura got the Mets on the board in the 7th, the Pirates answered right back with a 422-foot homer by Brant Brown. 5-1 Pittsburgh as we go to the 9th. This is our Tri-State Consumer Auto Insurance Game Summary.
And the big story, the buzzsaw tonight for the Pirates down at the bottom, Kris Benson. 8 innings pitched. He's allowed 1 run, a Robin Ventura home run. Robin's 19th on the season, but it's been all Benson here at Shea Stadium tonight.
So Benson certainly hoping to get the call in the 9th inning to go after that first major league complete game. He'll have at least a 4-run lead. And the Pirates will face Pat Mahomes, who becomes the 3rd Mets pitcher. He picks up Isringhausen after Jason went an inning and 2/3, giving up 2 hits and a run. Low to Nunez. Mahomes has been very, very effective lately. He hasn't pitched in a while. He has not pitched since the Baltimore series last week. Mets were at Camden Yards on Monday and Tuesday. Holmes got into the Tuesday game working 2 hitless, scoreless innings. Fastball is high, and he's behind Nunez, 3-0. After Nunez, the Pirates will have Brian Giles and Kevin Young. Four in a row out of the strike zone. The Pirates get the leadoff man up.
24, Brian Giles.
And that'll bring up Brian Giles. Bobby Valentine will hand the ball to a man he's very familiar with tomorrow afternoon's game, Kenny Rogers. Bobby managed Kenny Rogers, and Valentine was managing the Texas Rangers. Nothing doing. Nunez back safely. Of course, with Kenny Rogers making his debut tomorrow, that'll give the Mets 6 active starting pitchers for the time being. And he is not inclined to go very long with a 6-man rotation. Of course, that means somebody among the incumbents would have to wind up in the bullpen. And that doesn't even address the situation as it pertains to Bobby Jones. Bobby's still a ways from being ready, although he did throw effectively today, according to Bobby Valentine. But Bobby's got a decision to make as you look at our Bud Court book.
Yeah, Bobby Valentine saying I haven't broached the subject with any of the pitchers. I wouldn't do a 6-man rotation for the benefit of one.
Pop foul by Giles. Well, we mentioned Bobby Jones, who would, when healthy, give the Mets 7 potential starting pitchers. He threw a simulated game today, and Bobby Valentine said he had his best control yet. Best control, the best movement on his ball. Pitched about 2 innings somewhere between 40 and 50 pitches. And they say now the arm problem, per se, is behind him. Now it's a matter of strengthening and conditioning. Fastball missed to Giles, 2-2.
Well, it's tough because he's really going through spring training late in the year on a team that's fighting for the division title. Braves with a 10-2 lead tonight over Milwaukee in Atlanta.
Hit by the pitch.
Yeah, Giles just gave with it, but it did some damage to Piazza. The hitters don't even flinch anymore. They just give with the ball, and the catcher gets hammered.
Giles is another one that wears that elbow protection, which he has since gotten rid of. It's one of the reasons they don't give as much as they used to.
Watch this. Ball inside to Giles, and just gives with it. Almost wanted to, it was almost on purpose. Piazza going out, taking some time with Mahomes.
Fox Sports News is coming up tonight on Fox Sports Net New York. You can get the latest from the national sports scene with a full recap of Major League Baseball and much more, all on Fox Sports News tonight after the Mets game here on Fox Sports Net New York. So 2 on, nobody out. Kevin Young, 1 for 3 with a walk. His last time up was as productive as any. I say that because he was batting with 1 out. And Brian Giles, a runner at first base. The Pirates already had a run in the 7th inning to increase their lead at the time to 3-0. And Young hit a double play ball to third, hustled down the line, beat the throw to first to keep the inning going, stole second, and then scored on a base hit by Sprague. 0-2 now to Young. Just to show you how important that first step out of the box is. Actually helped the Pirates build a run.
Young's been very impressive with his speed. Getting down to first base, stealing second.
Foul tip, still 0-2.
You know, which is amazing. It's amazing that you get a guy who's about 6'5", 230 pounds, can hit the long ball. Hitting .316 right now with 15 home runs. Plays a decent defensive first base. He can run, and he's been released twice. Figure it out.
Ground ball hit down the third baseline, foul, and the runner from second, Nunez, was off and running with a pitch. Giles at first base did not break initially, so we assume either Nunez was running on his own or somebody missed a sign. Still 0-2 to Young.
Jose Nunez with the good jump. The ball hit hard, but foul off the bat of Kevin Young. Joe West, the third base umpire, just happy it wasn't hit at him.
Again, the 0-2 pitch, and that's lifted in the air, short center. The right fielder, Cedeno, cutting in front of Moore to make the catch, 1 away. In case you joined us late, might have missed the news before concerning the umpires. As long as we're talking about Joe West skipping out of the way, question is, will he be skipping out for good? Because Major League Baseball has basically rehired most of those umpires who handed in their resignations effective September 2nd. Still, though, a third of them will, in fact, lose their jobs. Major League Baseball had already hired 25 or so from the minor leagues, so we're told that 13 National League umps and 9 American League umps will be gone. No names have been released yet. Ed Sprague going after the first pitch, and he pops it up. Now Alfonso in short right field, but they do put the infield fly rule into effect, so 2 men away.
Well, it's all going to boil down to the bottom of the 9th inning. And the Mets have to face the big right-hander Kris Benson, who's only allowed 6 hits and 1 run. He's had great stuff tonight, his fastball and his breaking ball, and getting ahead, immediately getting ahead of the hitter. The only damage coming off the bat of Robin Ventura, who homered in this ball game. So
Warren Morris now 1 for 4. fastball for a strike, 0-1.
I heard coming out of spring training of some of the scouts and some of the baseball people were talking that the Pirates had a pretty good ball club. Of course, they lost Jason Kendall, which really hurt their club. But they got Warren Morris, Kris Benson.
Off of Mahomes, Lopez throws him out and the side retired. Last licks coming up for the Mets. They're trailing 5-1. Piazza, Ventura, and Agbayani will see about closing the gap.
To be a six-time All-Star. Proud to break up a double play by any means necessary. Proud to take batting practice till my hands bleed. Proud to play in a new era. Proud to be a six-time All-Star. Proud to break up a double play by any means necessary. Proud to take batting practice till my hands bleed. Proud to play in a new era.
New York Mets baseball is brought to you in part by the New York Lottery. Play New York games because, hey, you never know. You never know what will happen in the last of the 9th inning. The 9th, the Mercury Mets came to Shea. They'll be heading far beyond the moon if they're going back to Mercury anytime soon. Mike Piazza, Robin Ventura, Benny Agbayani, all the Mets taking part in the Look Towards the Future promotion done by Major League Baseball. That's why the Pirates and Mets are wearing uniforms that you certainly don't recognize.
Well, the Pirates are certainly looking toward the future with this kid to see how he fares in the bottom of the 9th inning, closing out what he started.
Benson does not have a complete game. The Pirates as a staff have 4. Jason Schmidt has 2 of them. Cordova and Todd Ritchie the others. Ritchie will go for the Pirates tomorrow against Kenny Rogers. So 0-1 to Piazza.
And once again, Benson getting ahead.
Atlanta comfortably ahead in their game. Florida leading the Phillies 6-2 in the 9th. Fouled back by Piazza, 0-2.
Good location, jamming Mike Piazza. Mike didn't get around on the fastball.
Slider off the outside corner, 1-2. Benson is the second #1 overall pick the Pirates have had in the last dozen years. Remember Jeff King? Fouled away. Jeff King was taken second overall by the Pirates in 1986, retired recently.
Yeah, gave it all up. And he's a good ball player. Very laid back.
Yeah, Arkansas native. Very much in terms of personality like Kevin McReynolds.
They say he has a farm that he retired to, and I believe it was in Montana.
1-2 to Piazza. 9 fouls. Mike hanging in. Of course, the one thing about those first overall picks that you can never factor in is health. So far, Benson has his. King had a productive career. The last #1 overall pick by the Mets, Paul Wilson, sadly, has not had his baseball health. But he's trying to fight back from yet another arm operation.
Paul Wilson, just like Kris Benson, #1 draft pick, dominant college pitcher, just wasn't able to stay healthy.
And the 1-2 to Piazza outside. So Piazza with some foul balls in a battle here with Benson. Now is on the count even at 2-2.
Well, the Mets are impressed with Dotel's composure on the mound. The Pirates have to be very impressed with Kris Benson's composure.
2-2 to Piazza. Ooh, broken bat. That goes sailing into the crowd while the ball dribbles down the third baseline. And hopefully nobody's hurt.
Half a bat went that far. Benson severely jams Mike Piazza. He stayed inside and once again goes inside. Look at that bat fly.
Well, they're dangerous enough when they're thrown as a total entity, but when they splinter like that, you got sharp edges heading towards you. Well, he best get out of the way as soon as possible. Obviously, that's what everybody tried to do, and thankfully we're able to. So the 2-2 to Piazza. And Mike hanging in. Good duel here between Benson and Piazza to start the home night.
Benson jamming Piazza.
Again, a 2-2 pitch. Line drive, snagged by Nunez.
And the home plate umpire hit by the bat, I believe, when Mike Piazza started toward first base. Once again, Mike hitting the ball on the end of the bat, but hitting the ball hard. Nunez going off the ground to make the grab. Here's the swing. Hands back at him. But you see, he's reaching. He's completely extended, and you lose your power when you're that far extended, but he still hits the ball hard. Nunez getting off the ground to make the grab.
One down, ninth inning. Robin Ventura, the sum total of the Mets offense tonight, takes a strike. Piazza fought Benson pretty hard. Winds up with an 0-for-4 night, though. Ventura's home run in the 7th inning accounting for the Met run. Fastball upstairs, ball and a strike. So Robin picked up what starting to seem like his nightly run batted in. 77 now for Robin Ventura. That's popped up and playable on the infield. The third baseman sprayed calls. And the Mets are down to their last out.
Well, Benson's been able to keep the ball off the Mets' bats as far as the fat part of the bat. But Jason Isringhausen pitching to Brant Brown, and Brown hits our Dodge drive of the game off the scoreboard. Oh, did he crush that ball? He golfed it and drove it a ton off the scoreboard here at Shea. It's our Dodge drive of the game. The only bad pitch Benson has made tonight is to Robin Ventura as you look at Brant Brown.
Benny Agbayani, nothing out of 3 tonight. No balls, 1 strike to Benny.
Benson ending the game the way he started it, getting ahead of Agbayani.
The 0-1 pitch. Breaking ball. Nothing in 2.
You get ahead with the fastball, then he throws the breaking ball over the plate. 0-2 on Agbayani. You can do a lot of things when you're 0-2 and you've got great control on a given night.
The 0-2 to Agbayani, another breaking ball. This one a little short.
Well, Pete Vukovic, the pitching coach of the Pirates, has to love what he's seeing tonight.
Pirates have led since their very first batter of the game. Al Martin hit a home run. Benson trying to close it out. 1-2 to Agbayani. Bounce foul. Ricky Rojas provides a souvenir. Well, Gene Lamont, for the most part, has been able to handle this one in a rocking chair.
He's hoping he is watching the Pirates' future. #1 pitcher emerging.
It'll be a 1-2 pitch to Agbayani. Popped up, and this should end the ball game. Warren Morris, the second baseman, is there. And the Pirates win it. A complete game for Kris Benson.
6-hitter for Benson. It's almost like they had to tell him this thing's over.
He wanted to keep going. Huh?
Yeah, he's had great control tonight. Good velocity on the fastball. Was able to throw the breaking ball over the plate. He's now 8-8 on the season. It has to make Gene Lamont breathe a little easier, along with the pitching coach, Pete Vukovic. But Benson dominated the Mets tonight. So hats off to the big right-hander with the Pirates.
Pittsburgh Pirates even up this series at a game apiece as they defeat the New York Mets 5-1 here at Shea Stadium. Final game of the series tomorrow, just afternoon, 12:10 first pitch. Kenny Rogers will face Todd Ritchie. We'll come back, put a wrap on this one, though, but there's your story. Kris Benson.
Look at that. Throws the hand up in the air. There it is. Give me the ball. I want to pitch some more.
Well, with his stuff, he may be doing a lot of that in the future. 5-1 Pittsburgh, your final tonight. We're coming back after this. 5-1 tonight here at Shea Stadium. Their pitcher, Kris Benson, was terrific, but every pitcher needs some support. And Benson certainly had some tonight. Our Coors Light play of the day actually has to do with the offensive support received by Benson. Al Martin led off this game with a home run off of Orel Hershiser. So before many of the 36,000 and change who had come here tonight had settled in, it was 1-0 Pittsburgh. Martin wasn't done, though, in the 7th inning. Again, leading the inning off, he launched another one. 16 home runs on the year, 2 of them tonight for Al Martin, helping the Pirates to a 5-1 win over the New York Mets. They are our Coors Light plays of the day. So the Pirates win this one 5-1. Benson evens his record at 8-8. Orel Hershiser takes the loss to drop down to 10-7. And tomorrow we'll get started just after noon. Kenny Rogers will make his debut for the New York Mets against Todd Ritchie. Geico Mets on deck. Brian McRae will co-host with Matt Lachlan at 11:30. And coming up now, we'll give you the whole national scene, all the Major League Baseball scoops on Fox Sports News right here on Fox Sports Net New York. So on a night when the Mets looked ahead to the future, the Pittsburgh Pirates made the here and now a little bit difficult, but the future for the Pirates is bright as long as that arm of Kris Benson is part of it. And for that matter, the power of Al Martin is around as well. Hershiser won the last time out, but this is all the offense he got tonight. Robin Ventura's home run. The Pirates did the bashing as they win it 5-1. And so for Fran, Healy, that man, Matt Lachlan, and our entire Fox Sports Net New York crew, I'm Howie Rose. Have a great night.
Everybody's coming down. the Mets. Step right up and greet the Mets. Bring your kiddies, bring your wife. Get